Good evening. Are we ready in the back? All right. Give me a countdown when you're ready. All right, good evening and welcome to the August 20th Board of Supervisors meeting. We're going to start the meeting with, we have 3 interviews for advisory boards and commissions. The first person on our list is Eleanor Turner. If you're here, please come up to the table here.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So the way these aren't long drawn out processes here,
Sure.
but one, thank you for coming out and putting your name in the hat to volunteer for one of our boards and committees. Generally what we do is give you a chance to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, what boards and committees you might be interested in,
Sure.
and then after that, just give board members a chance to ask you a few questions and have you on your way.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks so much for having me tonight. My name's Eleanor Turner, and I'm interested in being on the Environmental Advisory Committee. So I have been in LMT now for about 3 years and have absolutely fallen in love with it. Moved from New York, then Philly, have a background in fashion. Started 2 companies. I'm an entrepreneur. I run one from LMT now. It's a sustainable basics company called The Big Favorite. And it's actually my great-grandfather's company, so we make plastic-free Pima cotton basics and just have a big interest in plastics education around plastics in our clothes and environment, big in sustainability. I also run a podcast that is called the Say More Podcast, and we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs about their mission-driven companies and their purpose alignment with those companies. I'm also a horsewoman, love rewilding our front yard currently in the Westover neighborhood, working with our neighbors to get together and plant more trees in that neighborhood. It used to be a big nursery, and the trees are dying and having to come down, so working with them to put together a big group of people who are planting more trees. And just generally interested in what the initiatives are for the EAC and how I can help bring those forward and add to the conversation.
Thank you. With that, I'll open up to the board for questions. Supervisor Blundy?
I don't have any questions, although I did just send your information to a professor at the College of New Jersey. That's her passion, is fashion, and
Fantastic. Thank you.
so she'll be contacting
Thank you. Love the connection.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Supervisor Ross?
I have no questions, but thank you for applying.
Thank you.
Supervisor Lewis?
So if I order online, it gets shipped from Lower Makefield to my
It
house?
sure does.
And the name of your podcast?
The Say More Podcast.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, I don't have any questions.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much for volunteering, though. I think you'd be a great asset to that,
Thank you.
to that committee.
Are there any, I'm looking at the committee now, it looks like we have currently 1 member opening at the moment. We may end up having 2, I think, actually. Is that, so just in case, is this the only committee you're interested in?
Yeah, that would be the only committee I'm interested in for now.
Okay. Have you attended any meetings or have you seen what they do? Have any specific thoughts?
No, have not.
Okay. I encourage you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We do have other interviews for folks that I think might be interested as well. We'll see.
Yeah,
But,
she's awesome, by the way.
Oh, even
I was
better.
just talking to her.
I like that. I like that. So,
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good evening.
Thank you again.
Hi,
Are you
I'm
Elizabeth Quigley?
I'm your next candidate.
All right,
Elizabeth
come
Quigley.
on up.
We just started chatting, so apparently we got to know each other pretty well.
Nice.
So I am Elizabeth Quigley. I have lived here in Yardley for about 4 years, and me and my husband and my cute, awesome, energetic 18-month-old son are looking to settle down and put some roots down. I have a bachelor's and master's in material science engineering. I've done 4 years as a research engineer for a rubber valve company down in Atlanta, and I started a sustainability materials program there. But when I saw that it was more of an old school industry, and as kind of the lone wolf trying to push through some of these sustainability initiatives, I felt like I didn't quite have the expertise or the team behind me to really do as much as I would like. So I began searching for a new opportunity. I landed at Purolite, where they have a water plant down in Philadelphia, and I started there as a sustainability engineer. And I was excited about the opportunity because it was a big company. They had people, they had money. But I quickly became disillusioned with that because they were really only interested in making the company look good and making incremental changes. And what I really wanted to do was create this closed-loop system where they didn't have to rely on Philadelphia for their water, where they could reuse at least 80 to 90% of their water and find a way to purify it using plants and more of a natural-based system, so you could add some greenery into the middle of a very industrial part of the city. Fortunately, they were not really interested in that idea because it would take about 3 to 5 years to really even see any progress, and they wanted some action now to meet their goals. So I left that, took a little bit of time to enjoy my son, and was able to work as a technical reviewer for EPA's Climate Pollution Reduction Grant Program. So I got to review grants on the state and U.S. territory level to identify if the grants were really worth the $5 billion pool of money or not. And then I also did some technical grant reviewing for the Department of Energy as well. And now I work part-time for a local nonprofit called Welcoming the Stranger as a grant writer and data manager, and then I'm starting a new position soon to be a sustainability grant writer for a company called FedSprout, where they help companies in the Northeast to write sustainability grants and get funding. So all in all to say, I'm very interested in the field of sustainability, kind of interested in most of the different areas of sustainability, although I would like to get back into more of the materials aspect that I'm, got my degrees in, but I'm hoping to use what I've learned to give back to the community and really make some good, lasting, long-term changes to the future. And as you can tell by my child, I have a very strong stake in his future and wanting to make sure it's better than what we can hope for now.
Well, thank you. I'll open the board up to questions. Supervisor McCartney?
I have no questions, but thank you for volunteering.
Oh, I would also like to say I am interested in the Environmental Advisory Council, if that was not clear.
I was thinking golf would be a good fit, but that sounds amazing too. Thank you.
Supervisor Lewis?
Yeah, I noticed the Georgia Tech for the Masters, probably, if not the finest, one of the finest universities in Georgia, probably.
Yes.
Savannah
If not
College
in the
also
country,
lovely,
I should say.
but Georgia Tech, really great school. So I'm very impressed. I don't have any specific questions, although I am interested. I think I appreciate some of the detail and materials stuff would be particularly helpful in land review, so that would be nice to have.
Yeah, the combination of material science, sustainability, engineering, coupled
Yeah.
with the grant writing background. That's something we like here. Supervisor Ross?
I don't have any questions, but thank you for applying.
And Supervisor Blundy?
I'm intimidated. Thank you.
Don't be. I'm a very nice person.
In a positive way.
I'll bring chocolate chip cookies.
There you go.
She's in.
Bribery.
Sorry.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate your resume, your experience, and your willingness to participate. Process-wise, as I was just saying, we do have several interviews across multiple boards, so we've been doing over many weeks, and we'll be looking to make appointments soon. In the meantime, please, please, please get involved with just going to meetings and meeting the folks and taking part in their various initiatives. They will absolutely take advantage of your skill sets, whether you're on the committee or not. They're a great committee. I'm a former member, so I know them well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And then, these are great interviews tonight. Kathy Wiener? Hi. Welcome.
Thank you for interviewing. I am also interested in the environmental advisory, but with formidable competition, really skilled. I would be open to considering something else. I don't have.
Oh,
Can you?
please, to the microphone.
I don't have as much experience as I do in environmental. I started my environmental passion over 50 years ago in college, participated in the first Earth Day, so that kind of dates me. Very interested in recycling issues, trash, land use, water, air quality. In my career in healthcare administration, I was involved in a lot of environmental education programs. And then after retiring from that, I sort of became passionate about organic regenerative farming. I've done some classes at Rodale and very interested in pursuing that aspect of farming and environmental issues, and also am a vegan chef. So the environment is important, and I feel like we moved to Pennsylvania from Florida for a medical issue that I was having in last October, and moved in Lower Makefield in February. So we're kind of new to this area, but I feel like I read the minutes, I could contribute, but again, I see that it's great you have so much interest in the position, so I'm open to others.
Were there other committees that you mentioned that?
Well, I
any
can't
specific-
remember which other ones had openings at this point, because
A lot of them have like one, maybe two openings right now, so there's several, yeah.
Yeah, I just can't remember which other ones, because I saw that and it was like, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
But-
it's a good one, I understand. Here, I'll open the board up to questions here. Supervisor Blondie?
I don't have any. It's nice to see you tonight.
Supervisor Ross?
I don't have any. Thank you for applying, though.
Supervisor Lewis?
Thank you very much for applying.
No questions at this time, but thank you.
All right, well, thank you. You have a full agenda, so
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Right, so we're going to have two, maybe three openings.
Right.
So, I just don't know if it's two or three yet.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's just filled,
Oh,
I think, based on the website, but we'll check. All right. Let me get back to our agenda here. So with that, I will call the meeting to order, and I'll ask to please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, let's do a quick roll call. Supervisor McCartney,
Present?
Supervisor Lewis,
Here.
Supervisor Ross,
Here.
Supervisor Blondie.
Here.
All right, we are all present and accounted for. Let's see, community announcements. Reminder, during this portion of the agenda, residents and youth organizations may call in to make a special announcement or contact the township at admin@lmt.org to request a special announcement be added to the agenda. The Friends of 5 Mile Woods are looking for volunteers to help with 5 Mile Woods cleanup. They're held the second Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. from July through October. If you have some free time and would love to volunteer, we would love your help. Please come in comfortable clothes that you don't mind getting dirty, and bring along your work gloves and water to stay hydrated. If you have any questions, you can email Monica Tierney at monicat@lmt.org. August-only pool membership sales are now open. To register, visit www.lmt.org. In accordance with the requirements of the Pennsylvania Sewage Facilities Act, number 537, Falls Township and Morrisville Borough are preparing to submit to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection a Sewage Facilities Act 537 plan update revision for the decommissioning of the Morrisville and Keystone Trade Center wastewater treatment plants and the construction of a new regional wastewater treatment plant at the Keystone Trade Center. The 30-day required public comment period opened on August 13th, 2025, and ends on September 12th, 2025. Township residents may forward written comments to David Kratzer, our township manager. You can address those, David Kratzer, Township Manager, Lower Makefield Township, 1100 Edgewood Road, Yardley, PA, 19067, or send via email to dkratzer, that's DKRATZER, @lmt.org. Additional information, including the Act 537 plan update, can be found on the township website at www.lmt.org. Basically, what that means is the wastewater treatment plant that much of the township feeds to is going to be decommissioned and rebuilt, and that will affect our sewer rates separate from Aqua. So if you have an interest in that, please provide questions and comments that way. Any other, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Days are getting shorter, or at least the light is getting shorter, and it's time for our birds to begin their migratory patterns. LMT worked hard on becoming a bird town, so if you are able to consider diminishing your outside lights for the next few weeks, specifically between the hours of 11 and 5, because it does interfere with the birds' ability to navigate, use the stars, I guess, I don't know. But, you know, don't want anyone to be uncomfortable, but if you can dim your outside lights, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other supervisors with any announcements? All right. With that, I will open it up to item number 5, public comment on non-agenda items. So if you have public comment on items that do not appear on the agenda, please feel free to come up to the podium, state your name, whether or not you're a Lower Makefield Township resident. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes and try not to repeat comments from other folks. So with that, is there anyone with public comment this evening? All right, anyone online? All right, so we will close public comment. Now, the next item on the agenda, we have some new patrol officers that will be joining the force here in LMT. We've had lots of updates and changes in the force these last several months, all positive, and we're happy to welcome our 3 new patrol officers. And I would ask that we'll come up here, and Officer Tyler Gibson will be first. Or Giberson, I apologize. Ward wants to join me? Sure. Yeah, come on up.
I'll hold the Bible if you want.
So before we do this, we'll give a little bio on you so people know who you are. So Officer Tyler Giberson is 25 years old and a Levittown resident. He's a 2018 graduate of Neshaminy High School and a veteran of the U.S. Army Reserve. Thank you for your service. While serving in the Army, Officer Giberson earned the Army Achievement Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Medal, and Overseas Ribbon. Officer Giberson graduated from the Temple University Police Academy in 2023 and has prior service with the Tullytown and Bristol Borough Township Police Departments. Wow, impressive. All right, let's go for it. All right. I state your name.
I, Tyler Giberson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Code of Ordinances of the Township of Lower Makefield,
and the Code of Ordinances of the Township of Lower Makefield,
and that I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of a police officer in Lower Makefield Township
of a police officer in Lower Makefield Township
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I state your name.
I, Tyler Giberson,
Acknowledge that I will uphold,
acknowledge that I will uphold,
obey, and enforce
obey, and enforce
the law without consideration
the law without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age, national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is everyone in? Act like you like each other. All right, thank you.
All right. Next, Chief. Officer Mitchell August, if you'd approach. Please bring your family too if you'd like. How you doing? How you doing? Nice to meet you. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Awesome. Good name. All right, we'll start this off with a little bio for you, too. How about that? Officer Mitchell August is 29 years old and a Langhorne resident. He's a 2014 graduate of PENNSBURY High School and a 2016 graduate of Delaware County Community College Police Academy. Officer August has prior service with multiple borough police departments, with his most recent position being in the Morrisville Borough Police Department. Let's see. Who do I give this to? There you go. All right. I state your name.
I, Mitchell August,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Code of Ordinances of the Township of Lower Makefield,
and the Code and ordinances of the Township of Lower Makefield.
and that I will discharge the duties of a police officer
I will discharge the duties of a police officer
in Lower Makefield Township
in Lower Makefield Township
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I state your name,
I, Mitchell August,
acknowledge that I will uphold,
I acknowledge that I will uphold,
obey, and enforce
obey, and enforce
the law without consideration
the law without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
Welcome.
All right, get you guys all in for a picture. Hold on, we got Matt hiding in the back.
Officer Gary please correct me if I mispronounce your name. Zumpano? All right, come on up. Bring your family. Everyone mispronounces my name, so I have to pay attention. Hey, look at you. Beautiful dress. All right. A little bio. Officer Gary Zumpano is 37 years old and a Warminster resident. He's a 2006 graduate of Archbishop Wood High School and a 2010 graduate of Westchester University. Officer Zumpano served in the U.S. Army National Guard from 2013 to 2024, achieving the rank of captain. During his military service, Officer Zumpano earned the National Defense Services Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, the Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal. Officer Zumpano is a 2012 graduate of the Montgomery County Police Academy and his prior service with multiple borough police departments, with his most recent position being in East Norriton Township Police Department. Thank you for your service and continuing. There you go. All right. I state your name. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Code of Ordinances of the Township of Lower Makefield.
and the Code of Ordinances of the Township of Lower Makefield.
And I will discharge the duties of a police officer
And I will discharge the duties of a police officer
in Lower Makefield Township
in Lower Makefield Township
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I state your name.
I, Gary Zumpano,
Acknowledge that I will uphold, obey, and enforce
acknowledge I will uphold, obey, and enforce
the law without consideration
the law without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
age,
age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
Welcome. All right.
Oh, that was a good one. Do you want to go? Okay. All right, show us how to smile, kids. All right. Let me see it. There you go. Very good.
Don't. Oh, you are?
All right.
I thought you were crushing curls or something this week, left-handed, because you look.
Yeah, you look jacked, yeah.
You got like Popeye arm going.
That was funny. My doctor, when I went, she was asking me questions. You're anything like that?
PED.
Plus, she's like, have you taken steroids for anything before? I said, I had only like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
She gave me prednisone.
Yeah.
I said, I think you had some weird jungle rot, like dermatitis.
Awesome. Wow.
We all set to keep going here? Now, we just recognized some new hires to the township, but I would be remiss if I didn't recognize some recent retirements of some really long-term public works employees. Robert Jones retired on December 31st, 2024, after 28 years of service. Robert Hensard retired on March 28th of this year with 26 years of service. Greg Coble retired just recently on June 30th of this year with 34 years of service. And most recently, with the longest tenure, is Richard Smith, who retired on August 1st of this year with 45 years of service. I just want to say thank you to the members of the Public Works Department. Derek, I hope you pass this along to these guys, that we definitely appreciate their years of dedicated service to the community. They chose not to come tonight because they just said, hey, we're just doing our jobs. But when you put in that much time, it's more than a job. So we appreciate you all. We also want to welcome to the Public Works team, what do we got here? 5 new hires. We've got Irving Herrera, was hired on July 14th. Tyler Peshin, hired on July 21st. Joseph Gentry, also hired on July 21st. Kyle Corbett, hired on July 28th. And Larry Hall, also hired on July 28th. To all those folks, welcome to the team. Very important job in this community. You have a great boss to work for, so hope to see all of them around. Please say hi if you get to see them out on the streets. Now, with that, I would like item number 8 on our agenda. I'll move slowly so you can get set up here. Is a presentation regarding the proposed PENNSBURY High School project. Dr. Thomas Smith is here, our superintendent. Feel free to. There you go. And you don't have to stand here. You can sit at the table. Get comfortable.
Brought some friends along.
I noticed.
2 of our board members, Dr. Joanna Steer is our board president, and Lois Lambing, who is the chair of our education committee, actually.
Excellent. So just a little intro before we get you set up, just so there's no confusion about what we're doing here, right? We are not a regulatory body that has any oversight over the school board, over the high school, or anything. It's simply, obviously, Lower Makefield has a lot of interest in PENNSBURY, as we make up a good chunk of the school district. All of us up here either have been, currently are, or will be PENNSBURY parents. I have, my 2 kids will actually be among the first to be in the high school. So it's this. I see this as more of a informational session. I did attend one myself at Quarry Hill, so I got to see. So I think the same presentation. I'm not positive, but I know we get lots of questions. I know you all get lots of questions about what the process is. I know you have your hearing coming up on September 4th, so this is maybe a little bit of a precursor to that for you. But it's just I look at this as a good opportunity for the school district to present what you're looking at, how you got there. We're a process board. We talk about process all the time, so I'm curious about that stuff. I'll geek out on that a little bit with you. But just really want to give an opportunity for you as the superintendent who's leading the charge on this. You got school board members here who also have, I'm sure maybe some members of the public that have some questions, and maybe if they want to propose, more specific questions or official questions as part of your September 4th hearing, maybe this gets them to do that. I don't know. But anyway, with that, thank you for coming. I believe we have your presentation set up, so I think Mr. Marchewski's going to be going slide to slide, so you can give him direction, but I will take it away.
Great. First, I'd just like to say thank you. Anytime we can talk about the project, I'm more than willing to do. As you mentioned, we went out into the elementary schools, all 10 elementary schools. Board members and I presented to the parents because they're the ones who are truly, the fifth graders will be the first ones to spend the 4 years at the high school. So we recognize this is a large project for the community. It's an important project for the community. We're committed to doing it right, to dotting every I and crossing every T. But there's a real need for it, and we recognize that. So we've worked through, over the last few years, really a plan to get us to this point. So if you could advance to the next slide. So this started a couple of years ago where the board facilities and finance committee started talking about the project and doing something with our current high school campus. So we assembled a design discussion committee. We put out email to the community, asked for volunteers. We selected those volunteers and put together a committee to really look at our current campus, some of the challenges that we're dealing with there, coming up with ideas, heard presentations from our architect, our architect at the time, and some other folks. We had community forums, which we presented that information. And then we did some site surveys just to figure out what's on the high school campus, a geotech investigation, hazardous materials, and a demographic study that really would tell us where we're going to be in the next 10, 20, 30 years. And that really was a pivotal moment because the committee actually, this was a committee that of community members really came to the conclusion that the best path forward is not to renovate either one of the campuses. The existing setup on the campus is not efficient. We're replicating a lot of services, and adding on to the existing West campus would really not be a wise move, because once we get to that point of the amount of additions that it would need, we would also have to go back and renovate large portions of the existing building, and the infrastructure would not be beneficial to the students, the staff, or anyone else. So we looked at all avenues, and really this committee and the board reviewed in their work to say the best path forward would be to build a new high school. So that started in November, December. Said, okay, we need somebody to design it for us. So we put out an RFP for the architect to help us design the school. Community, they came and presented. We narrowed it down to 4 finalists. I don't know if anybody attended that, but that was really well attended. And the video of that evening, I think we had over 4,000 views. People were really into it, and it was something we were really excited about. Narrowed it down, selected one architect to help us move forward with the project. And then beginning in January of 2024, we assembled a second design committee, really then to really start honing down on what will we need in a new high school. We conducted visits to recently completed high schools. We did community presentations about what we're looking at, got feedback from the community. We're going through right now the design and the construction approvals. We're coming to the end of the high school design, and really now are going for approvals with Falls Township. All goes well this winter. We're looking at releasing the first round of construction bids, with first formal approvals taking place in the new year with that. And then all goes well, spring of 2026, construction starts. One thing I tell folks with that is there's a lot of just moving dirt for at least the first 6 months, so you won't see anything fancy there, but there's a lot of site work that needs to be done in that area with that. The great thing about the project is, and we'll talk about this in a slide or two, is that the two buildings function as they currently are, so students who are attending really have no impact. That was another thing that factored into this is, and we experienced it with Charles Bay Middle School, the impact of the existing students when you have a construction project going on. So that really made it a wise choice. And then all goes well, we're looking at fall of 2029 for the new building to open. Jim, I'm ready for the next slide. And we worked with Jim in the past, just if I could give a shout out to him. He was really helpful, and I remember meeting with him about the Bain project. So just one thing I share with the parents, it's hard to believe that our current fifth graders will be in the first ones to spend all 4 years at the high school. So that's pretty cool. And what I've said to some of our elementary parents is they can actually even start choosing their parking space.
I'll take you up on that.
So if those of you familiar with the current setup is, we have two, the West Campus is up in the upper left-hand corner. The East Campus is down in the bottom right-hand corner. If you click that, it should have the circles. There we go. So that's West. Then we have East. And then the students right now are walking between the two buildings. Again, this presents a number of issues for us. Obvious is the safety issue. The other one is the efficiency of that. We're losing time every day for students to traverse that great of a distance. The nice thing about it, on a beautiful day, it's a great walk. On a day like today, it's, we have buses that transport our students, and it just becomes a really difficult situation for all of us. So our hope is, with the new building that you see down on the left-hand side, is that's where it will be located. You see that West no longer exists, East no longer exists, and that building will be constructed where currently there are some fields and a junior parking lot, which if you have a junior, I apologize. We've already shared with them that those spots will be disappearing soon. But that being said, so we have the new high school, and once the new high school is constructed and occupied, then we will tear down the existing buildings. We have some fun ideas about the buildings before we do that, and when we actually got rid of the seats for the auditorium renovation at BAME, we opened them up to the community, and every usable seat was taken. So looking at doing the same thing for the high schools, we don't want anything to go to waste. We're very environmentally, we're trying to be much more environmentally friendly as a district, but addressing our carbon footprint. So we want anything that can be reused, we'd like it to be reused. That's where the new school is going to be. See where the buses will line up. One thing I will mention is to take the next slide. The main entrance is off and this is another safety concern, the main entrance is off one of the main roads. So you actually have to come into campus to enter the building. So that will be, as right now, between the two buildings, the campus is relatively open. So we really want to make this as secure of a campus as possible for our students. Other great thing about this is that we can hold multiple events in the building. So right now, we're just by sound, we're prohibited from having a play on the same night as a basketball game, because you'll hear the buzzer or something will disrupt, one item will disrupt, one event will disrupt the other. Here, given our parking and given the layout of the building, we'll be able to hold multiple events in one evening. The other part about this is really built to be a community building. So we want this to be used as much as possible by our community. So if we have a play going on and the basketball league wants to use our courts, in the past they might have been prohibited on a play night, now they can use it. So again, we want this is the community's building, so we want it to be used. Here's just an overhead view of the first floor of the building. On the right-hand side is the gymnasium, 3,000 seat gymnasium. Right now, those of you been to PENNSBURY or have children, sports night is one of our main events in PENNSBURY. We wanted to make sure that we were able to bring that home and house it. Right now, it's held off-site due to the size of the numbers of attendees. This will allow us to bring that back. Also, we'll hold the full student body for pep rally events, which we can't do because we don't have the space now, but also for in the case of emergency. We will be replacing the pool. This is an 8-lane competition pool. I'm very excited for this. The current pool is a standalone structure and has really outlived its usefulness with that. On the left-hand side, you see the auditorium, and that's a 1,000-seat auditorium with that. And all of these spaces are multi-use spaces, so that means that the gymnasium, obviously, we could use for other events. The auditorium, the second, the balcony, the seats actually retract into the walls, so you can use that space it will be a flat level space that you could use that. We talked about the color guard practicing up there. In addition, we have orchestra spaces, practice spaces, music spaces, also the black box theater or a small performance space with that there. What we do and what we live and breathe is obviously we educate students. So the academic core is into the center of the building. And that will allow, when we talk about the change of classes with the path currently, there's students who might be going back and forth between the buildings 3 times a day, and that's 15 minutes of lost instruction. This will allow students to traverse the entire academic wing in about 5 minutes. So that's a great thing with that. And obviously the classrooms will be state-of-the-art and really reflect the needs of the current educational landscape. Yep. So I'd say it's really set up into 3 areas in the building. You have the athletics and cafeteria area, the academic core, and then the administration and performing arts side of the building. Just a blow up of the auditorium. You see also we have, as I mentioned, a new secure entrance. The administration, that's where the principal's office is, the counseling suite. There'll be a commons for students. The auditorium, as I mentioned, small performance space. The music suite on the left-hand side, and scene shop, which we currently don't have for building the sets, and also a learning stair and the media center, which is formerly the library, but that really becomes a multimedia space for our students. So I'm going to take you on a little tour through the front entrance. Hopefully it'll work. No, it won't. Okay. So you can see this on our website also. There's a small video in there that takes you into the main entrance of the building. Here is a learning stair. It's right across from the entrance to the auditorium. And this is space, and I want you, the building's being built on the whole notion of collaboration. And that by the time, those of you who have students or children in elementary school, right now, the number of students who are taking online courses, either with PENNSBURY or outside, is a high percentage. By the time we're projecting students are in the high school, current elementary students, they could be taking an online course, an online college course, first block, and then in either the media center or in the sitting on the learning stairs, and then going to a live instruction class. It really becomes a flexible space. This also becomes a performance space, a place for students to hang out during lunch period, and an area for students after school. And that's the other thing with the 2 campuses. We want students to be in the building, but we also want to know where they are. Right now, the buildings have a lot of nooks and crannies. Every space, and we call it passive supervision, every space in this building can be seen. So the students, in terms of safety, if they're waiting for a bus after school, they can hang out in here and we can make sure that they're safe and we know where they are. Jim? That's the auditorium from the stage. As I mentioned, the balcony there, those seats all retract into the wall, and that becomes an extra added space for practice. I mentioned Color Guard or other organizations. That's our small performance space for our choirs. We're talking about having board meetings there, potentially.
Great acoustics for board meetings.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of public comment. You guys didn't have any public comment. Jim, can you see if this one will take us in? If you click this one might take us in a flyby. Nope. All right. So there's also, you can see a video that goes into the media center. I want to call your attention to a couple things. Down on the left-hand side is that's the media center, but it's also an outside veranda, so kids go to the media center. They can actually go outside if it's a nice day and read a book. There is a small wall there for safety to ensure that students are still within the building confines. In the center, you see a courtyard that will be a place for students, again, to congregate, their teachers to take their students outside in a safe environment that is protected from the outside. Another thing I will bring up, and this is...
If you wanted to, you can stay in your chair, but you could also take the mic and
If you want to point stuff, yeah.
only because
Okay. Oh, you got
I have no idea.
Great, Dr. Steer.
Oh, thank you. No, see, you must have the mic.
Definitely need a microphone at all times in this room. We will get red lights flashing at us all.
All right, so
we
just
go.
to review what he just said, this is the media center here. This is here. This is the outdoor courtyard that's got a protective wall here. This is Hood Boulevard just for orientation. This is the inner courtyard that's surrounded by classrooms on all four sides at 3 levels. And then this is the 3/4 courtyard that faces the parking lot. And there's, again, a security wall here so that it's partially contained.
And everything that we're showing is really it's a proof of concept in other buildings. So it's the interior courtyard, folks will say, well, it'll be a distraction to students. We went to equally sized high schools where that's just an active learning environment for students. And students going outside to eat lunch or to read a book, that's happening in many other high schools around the area.
Really, and I'm not going to stop you with too many questions. Those courtyards, are they going to be, I know this is a rendering, but I know they have walls and stuff. Are they going to have grass in the middle or something else?
They're going to have AstroTurf.
Okay. I was going to ask about mowing and all that stuff.
Yes.
That's become an issue. So
Okay,
they will
yeah.
have AstroTurf and then pavers or stamped concrete around the outside. We are going to, what's not seen here, maybe in one of the later slides, is sun shields to protect students from the sun because kids would be outside. The other thing is, and just to take a deep breath, when we open this building, it'll move towards what's called a unit lunch. So that means that every student will be eating lunch at the same time. It becomes an opportunity for clubs to meet, for students to get extra help. If I told you how many requests for schedule changes because kids want to be with their friends in a different lunch, or sometimes even in a large high school, students eating by themselves, this virtually eliminates that. It also becomes a much more efficient structure for us in terms of being able to serve lunch all at once and then clean up all at once. So we're able to compress our lunch periods and then have a more efficient schedule.
Interesting.
So again, this is what we do, is our academic work. So we have all the academic classrooms will be in here. There's a health suite, STEM, the tech labs, science labs, special education, our business, as we mentioned, outdoor courtyards and teacher planning rooms. Here's a picture of what the hallways will look like. I have a quiz for you. What don't you see in that hallway?
Lockers.
Lockers. Yeah. If I tell you now that we have 3,000 lockers at the high school, I'll ask you, how many kids have signed out a locker last year?
10.
2.
2.
up from 0. So the schools that we're visiting now, and we know it from ourselves, is kids aren't, we have Chromebooks, they're not carrying 5 huge books anymore. They'll carry their backpack. So it just becomes wasted space and additional cost. Yep. That's a picture of the outdoor courtyard. It does not have the sun shield, but that's, again, picture your high school experience of hanging out there on a 70-degree day eating lunch.
I had lockers in law school when I left them.
And there you can see the academic rooms, and that's the STEM room up on top. Jim? The classrooms are going to look different than they do today. They're going to be much more collaborative with students working in small groups. You won't see the big tank-like teacher desk, where it's much more flexible and collaborative spaces. Jim? Teachers will have a collaboration space, and this is one of, I will say, so we have 2 high schools, and I mentioned the lack of efficiency between the 2 buildings, which is a challenge because we replicate a lot of services. One of the benefits is we do have a lot of space. I would argue that it's wasted space, but what that, I think one of the unintended consequences of that is the language arts department, for example, who we have a great language arts department, but they could go an entire year without seeing a colleague outside of their faculty or their department meetings. So this almost forces that collaboration and working together and ensuring that we, as something we're working on as a school district, ensuring that the experience, no matter who your teacher is or what elementary school that you have, is equal. Here's the athletic area. Entering that, another learning stairs. There's a small learning stairs in the athletic area. Another picture of the hallways. You see the areas for kids to just hang out. Good.
Is that the old path painted on the floor?
Yes, that's it. No, thank you. That yes. So going down. Thanks. Going down the hallway is a nod to the old path. We're calling it the PENNSBURY path, actually. And if you remember from the overhead picture, there is one, and as mentioned, we call it passive supervision. You're able to stand in one hallway and virtually see, the entire hallway. But the PENNSBURY path goes through the whole building.
If you stand right there, you can see all the way down there, all the way down to the end there, and then all the way that way and that way. So lots of passive supervision.
And that's where, again, high school west, you can maybe see in some areas 50 feet ahead of you before there's a wall with that. All right, moving on. So again, 3,000 seat gymnasium. Nice thing about this is, given the size of the gymnasium, we'll have a 2-lane rubberized indoor running track for that. Second floor fitness lab, small weight room, 8-lane pool, as I mentioned. Team rooms, a school store, the cafeteria, and the snack shack.
Yeah.
All in that. And again, all that stuff is centralized for efficiency. There's the Falcon Terrace, which is the entrance for the athletic area. We do have a picture there. We have a large Falcon statue, and we're looking for a benefactor who might want to donate a large Falcon statue for that, and we could put the label on it under there, saying who it was donated by. Jim? So just so you're aware of where we are, we're meeting weekly with our administration and SiteLogic, who is our construction manager. End user meetings, which is a fancy term for we're meeting with the teachers. So if you're an art, we met with the art department to really design the art rooms, the science department to design the science rooms. So they've been actively involved in the design of this building. And I want to say that although the pictures, I think, do it justice, and it's a very nice building, it is a good, solid building. We are not, if you've seen some buildings maybe in Texas or something like that, the amount of glass and the amount of open space that they have is, one could argue wasted space. Here is a very efficient building. We're being responsible in terms of the design and the efficiency of it. So it is while it's all new and looks very nice, it is also designed to be incredibly efficient. We've completed our pool study. One of the questions we received from the community is, can't we just refurbish the existing pool? Well, the existing pool only has 6 lanes, so it really wouldn't be able to host competitions. But also, the pool is below code in terms of diving, the new code for diving, and also needs significant repairs. So to renovate that pool versus building a new pool, the delta is really not that great. We've chosen the HVAC system, and we're actually completed our preliminary grading of starting to look at the layout and moving of dirt. So, yeah, as I mentioned, staff engagement, all the folks that have been involved with that. And I actually will say, the folks who organized sports night and the prom, another hallmark of PENNSBURY, they were involved in the discussion. The prom will be held in this building, contrary to some rumors, I guess they're out there, and they have been involved, and there's actually even prom storage built into the building. So we're set up. We're trying to do as much as we can for all the programs and services that we support in the district, as well as our community. Benefits at a glance: improved safety and security, updated learning spaces, a highly efficient building with sustainable features. So it's designed to save energy and reduce long-term costs. Even with our buildings, we are constantly fixing them. This really gives us a number of years, decades arguably, of maintenance-free. Well, we would have to maintain them, but repair-free, specifically for our HVAC systems. But we're not are pursuing formal LEED certification at this point, but we are incorporating many of the same environmental responsibilities, as I mentioned, HVAC, smart design, and we want to make sure our money is going to invest the money directly into building. But we are open to certification fees. If there's grants out there allow us to pursue this, we're more than willing to do so. And as I mentioned, it's a single right-sized building. We are, the amount of wasted, I would argue, energy and just duplication of services, but having 2 buildings, one building is just going to be cost less to run and operate. And we want this to be a community-friendly building, so it's all designed with the community and openness and the ability to come in and out of the building safely. But if you've ever been to the high school drop-off, one of the designs too is improved traffic flow for buses, parents, and students. So right now it is very difficult during the 20 minutes around drop-off time. We know it's backed up. I've been in it with it. So the goal is to fix a lot of ills that we currently have on the high school campus. All righty, Jim. All this, it's a very nice presentation, but does not come without a cost. The new PENNSBURY High School is projected to cost $269 million. That's a lot of money. We recognize that. I will say, I just read an article about when the high school east was built for $4 million, there's articles about that was, an unbelievable amount back then. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't think I could build a parking lot for $4 million. So we recognize that, but our thinking is if we don't do it now, costs will only increase in the future. So the way we're going to do it is we're funding by bonds. So that'll be, and we're going to space those bonds out over the years of construction. So it's not like we borrow all the money today and we start paying interest. We borrow the money that we need when we need it, and then we space those out. The debt service will be absorbed into our general fund budget. And all of this will be covered in detail for those of you and folks who are numbers folks. There is what's called an Act 34 booklet. And as you heard, we are going to have a presentation on September 4th called an Act 34 presentation, which really outlines the finances of this. And there's actually the booklet. You can see all the gory details of the funding and how that breaks out. So you see the impact of the mills phased in over the bonds. We recognize the impact of this that it has on taxes. I would argue that you get a good, very good return on your investment. We know that we lose students to private schools. We know that I've spoken to parents personally who have left the district for private school, why they have left. A lot of them say because of facilities with that. So we need to do something on the high school campus, and we've decided, and the board has decided, that this is really the best path forward. With that, I also would like to, we recognize the cost, but I look at the potential savings of the monies that we are spending maintaining and upkeeping of our existing buildings, and the wasted cost of running 2 buildings and the overlap between those 2. So, the financial strategy, which has been done by the folks from PFM, is designed to minimize the immediate burden. So the efficiency of a new building should help hold down those long-term costs. As I mentioned, we're spending a lot of money on maintenance upkeep of our current buildings. Arguably, you would say that we're getting probably 2 decades of, as long as we maintain our areas, before we would need to replace a roof or really address anything regarding our HVAC systems. Jim? So as I mentioned, next steps is our Act 34 hearing on September 4th. We do this, we're required to do it by Pennsylvania School Code, but this is an opportunity, you're basically going to see the same presentation, but you can download the booklet from our website, or if you'd like to have it in paper, we have some copies at the board office also with that. That's the Act 34 booklet that has all of that information in it. This is a formal hearing. We've advertised it in accordance with the Pennsylvania State Code. There will be a stenographer. There's an opportunity for public comment on this. And then there's an additional 30 days following it of public comment where folks can send letters to the board, and then they are kept on file. I think that might be it. Just so those folks are following along, the architectural firm that's helping us with this project is KCBA. Snyder Hoffman is our MEP engineering groups. Terraforma is our engineers, and SiteLogic is our construction managers. And I can answer any questions that you might have.
Need a glass of water? That was
No, I'm good with that.
That was good. Thank you. At this point, thank you for that. I'll allow the board to ask some questions. I have a few for you because I want to learn from you.
Got
I think my first one, whenever you go through a process like this where you're looking to build something new and you're having to evaluate what you have, right? There's a lot of reviews, maybe some soul searching, and some deep thoughts about how do we get here. Like when I look at the schools, to me, they're not that old. I've been in the schools. I understand why you're saying you need new schools. So I went to a high school that was built in 1963. My junior high, which used to be a high school, was built in the 1930s. They're still around. They're still kicking. They've been renovated, lower costs, over time, and they're still going. What have you, as you went through this process, what have you learned, and I'll open this up to school board members too if you want, what have you learned about how these schools were or were not maintained, processes, procedures? We want this new school to last for as long as possible, so it'll probably be $1 billion next time you do something like that, not more, right? I said that out loud, sorry. What do you think you've learned now? Because we look at a lot of projects, big, small, and otherwise, that we're not 260, 270, whatever it is, but in our board, we have people, like I manage billion-dollar infrastructure projects every day. We have we have lawyers and structural engineers and marketing VPs and all this stuff that handle large projects. So we're always trying to put our knowledge into how we do stuff, but I'm really interested to hear what you've learned from this whole process. Good.
Sure, and I can respond to a couple things. One is I've worked in places that had schools from the turn of the last century, 1919, 1929. And they were beautifully built, but they were also maintained very well throughout the years. I will say, this could get me in trouble, but like in the 50s and 60s, maybe early 70s, the designs of schools, maybe, and I think East is a victim of that, where it was kind of so far out there, where East does not have any windows, or very few windows. So at that time, it was built on, air conditioning was a new thing. It was a great idea. And windows were seen as a distraction. So when you talk about that building, I don't know, has it just outlived its usefulness in terms of design?
Yeah.
And another thing is I worked in a district that had an open space high school. So that was great in the 70s, and the concept, you could walk from classroom to classroom. But when you put 2,000 students in a high school, open space doesn't work with it. So I think there's two things. One is the maintenance, as you hit on too.
Yeah.
And I do think there were decisions made over the years of deferred maintenance, and I think we're paying for that now, quite frankly. The other thing is, in parts of East, well, certainly parts of East, but certainly parts of West, the building, the hallways are, at certain points, 8 feet wide, 10 feet wide. So there's nothing I could do. We would really have to tear that down and make it wider. I can't make it wider. So they were built for a different time for a smaller population. So you're trying to put 3,000 students into a building. Even those existing spaces, at best they would become like an annex or something like that, because students, you saw how wide the hallways are here. This is built for 3,000 students. None of those buildings were built to house the number of students that we have. That's why they're split between the two buildings. And if you've ever been there, which I have, in between class periods, there's constant points where we're getting to bottlenecks or going around corners. And unfortunately, high school kids being high school kids, that's also an opportunity to stretch your arms or
No idea what that means.
that's but it's something that happens with that.
Yeah.
The other part about that is they were also built at a different time. So no matter, we would need extensive renovations to make those places safer for our students. And that's really I think the heart of this. And I give tours for the 50th reunion for classes, 40th or 50th, and I presented this to the class of 73 a couple years ago, just in concept. And now they're grandparents, and they talked about what they did in high school, and they're like, we got to keep our kids safe. They're like, what do we need to do to tell you to build this?
Yeah.
Because they worry about 1,000 kids traversing a quarter mile 3 times a day at a specific interval.
Yeah, understood. Then it's
But
up to our,
deferred maintenance, I think, is one of our biggest challenges with that, because had things been done throughout the years, East has literally been untouched. I did the class of 1973. One of the people came, that's my locker. That was Mrs. Jones' class. It's still, it has not changed at all.
So it's up to the administration and the board to make sure we get proper funding and O&M plans in place to
Yes.
keep it going. That's something we talk about all
Yep.
the time. Now, since we're in Lower Makefield, I'd be remiss. I get a lot of questions about this. You can probably anticipate what I'm going to ask you. When you did your alternatives analysis, I did flip through the Act 34 plan. There was different options that were considered relative to East versus West, or new school, or wherever they were. Did you look at any sites in Lower Makefield? Since I know where we live, we probably live at the most northern part of the district. Lois, I'm looking at you. I know you know this. We're neighbors. And we have lots of great large properties that could have schools. What was the process for looking at alternative sites?
I think first we did a cost analysis of what it would cost to run 2 high schools, 2 football teams, 2 football stadiums. So it really, at that point, became cost prohibitive, because not only, right now, we're duplicating a lot of services in terms of 2 main offices in the buildings and things like that. But now you're running 2 sports programs, 2 debate teams, 2 everything's getting replicated, because we would want to have equity between the 2 buildings.
Yeah.
So at that point, this is an expensive project. We would need to build another high school. We still need to renovate the buildings, or do something with the East, or tear it down and do something. So it's not like we would just be building a new building and everything else is fine. Everyone agrees things have to happen on the current high school campus. So we looked at that, and really this became the most cost-effective path forward with that. And look, I know, and I've worked in districts that had 2 high schools, and it's nice you have the rivalry, and I will tell you this, and this will probably get me in trouble, but if we were to ever do that, we did something, and you can look this up, when I was in West Windsor-Plainsboro School District, we made the decision not to have a Plainsboro school or a West Windsor school. So you're busing students from across the district.
Yeah.
The benefit of that is you have two high schools that are almost exactly alike in terms of performance. Picking on Cherry Hill East and West in New Jersey, and I'm not picking any Pennsylvania schools intentionally, but there is a, school that is accepted as a better high school versus the other. I wouldn't recommend that even if we did that here. So you could be, even in Lower Makefield Township, going to the old high school. I think that would be the best way to balance it.
Yeah. I was just wondering if there might have been a more centrally located
Yeah, so
spot.
Yeah, so we even talked about that, and not that the Gray Nuns space is centrally located, but I know that that was discussed really early on. And it's, this predates me, so this whole conversation, I think, has been going on since 2016,
Yeah.
2017. So it's not new, but we were actually at this point. So I know that that was discussed at a certain point also.
Okay. Like I said, I get that question a lot.
Oh,
I'm
understood.
curious. Let's see. So give you a chance to dispel some myths and rumors here.
All
'cause
right.
I've read a few reports and seen a few things online, so I'll let you address those. What were the results? You had mentioned, I forget what year, 23 maybe? You had done some initial field studies?
Yep.
What were the results of the field study showing?
So, yeah, so there's, and all this information is available. So I guess the rumors that we had heard that there were, there were not stable land, that there was, I guess it was, the high school property was a swamp at one point, or a lake,
right.
or something like that. We can't find any of that, by the way, with that. And our initial reports are all positive, that the area will maintain a building. There's already 5 buildings on that. I don't know,
Yeah.
If a new building would, something would happen, but we don't foresee that. The reality of it is that every test so far that we've received has come back positive. The other thing I will say is there's no secret that there are drainage problems on that space.
Right.
Anything we do will make it better, because something has to be done for that too, with the surface level water runoff.
Yeah.
So we have basins that'll be put in that'll help manage all of that, and that's something that needs to be done. Period.
You're speaking my language. That's what I do.
That's it.
How about the one item I read that was, I don't know if it was concerning or just interesting from a field study, was the geotech report?
Yep.
Specific to I'm curious what the plan is by if memory serves, at the pool, the natatorium.
Yep.
The groundwater elevation looked to be relatively shallow, and I think I saw, and again, correct me, I want you to correct me, that the elevation of the pool as designed would be within the groundwater elevation, so that may have to be raised or moved. Can you address that?
Yeah, so actually the entire building, and not necessarily for groundwater, but just by the cut and fill of the dirt, is going to be raised up about a foot.
Okay.
With it. So that's going to address that. The way that the pool is constructed will address any of those concerns also.
So you're going to seal it or elevate it
Yes,
above?
yep, yep.
Okay. Was that priced into the?
Yep,
was?
absolutely. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Glad you said that.
Yeah, anything that's been mentioned or, rumors are out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll put in a plug. We have something that's called Ask Penny, or PENNSBURY, that you can ask questions and dispel the rumors. We'll get you the facts.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, most projects a lot of the projects that we do, a lot of the projects that I work on, we all work on in our private sector jobs, when they're this large, they often come with bid alternates and lots of different packages and approaches, so you can pick and choose, sort of like the menu of items.
Yes.
That get you to some value, and
Yep.
you don't know what you're going to get till you actually get a bid.
Correct.
You have engineers' estimates, and then you
Yes,
have the
absolutely.
real thing.
Everything, it goes down to tile,
Right.
wall coverings, everything. So there's terrazzo tile, there's vinyl tile, there's epoxy, there's polished concrete options for all of that. So that's the
yeah.
flooring, and, you know, flooring in that size of buildings, not cheap. So the alternate bid for, say, Terrazzo is like $2 million.
Yeah.
So that, how far the tile goes up on the wall is an alternate.
Anyone who's done a backsplash knows how that works.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, and that's, again, this is, you know, 497,000 square feet, so that all adds up. So, yeah, I think, you know, we're always adding the alternates. I met with the baseball coach earlier today, and, you know, he's looking for, you know, potential, you know, improvements to his field, too. Does that become an alternate? Because they will lose some area also.
Yeah. So at some point, when you get to the bid process, you'll get a bunch of bids, and you're going to have these bid alternates that you're going to have to look at, and then and again, I'm just thinking out loud.
Yep.
You're going to be doing the Tetris of
Yes.
putting these different bid alternates together and seeing what works, and then hopefully it comes in below that threshold number.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and we have a facilities committee who will be charged with that.
Okay.
I'll look at that.
Now, I hate asking. What happens if you get these bid alternates and, like, your least cost alternative is higher than you think because whatever reason the costs are driven up by labor or parts or whatever? What's the process for that?
So is that just for one item or for
Let's say you
the
went.
project in general?
Let's say the project in general, you went with all the cheapest possible build, right? None of these extra alternates, that would be nice.
Yep.
Right? Just say they're bare bones, getting a new school with some of the stuff you want, but you definitely don't get everything, and it happens to come in, for whatever reason, tariffs, I'll say that,
Yeah.
whatever, it just comes in higher than what your estimates are. What happens then?
So then there's a process for that. So then there could be a second Act 34 hearing. The other thing is, and, you know, I'm sure you've read it online, is depending on where it ends, does the district decide to go to referendum?
Okay.
But I will say, you know, this project has been discussed by multiple parties prior even to my arrival, and that, you know, it's not like one person's sitting there doing all the estimates. Now we've had three construction management firms, one prior to my arrival, who've highlighted what a new high school would cost. We have the architect firms. We have our own in-house group looking at various things.
Yeah.
So, you know, as of today, August 20th, what they're telling us is they feel pretty confident, and they built in escalators
Good.
to all of this.
In my world, we're always doing Monte Carlo risk analysis and
Yep.
estimating and re-estimating all the time. So.
Yep, and there's a lot riding on this, and they're feeling the pressure. I
Of
mean,
course.
we're going by what they're saying, so the stakes are just as high for them to make sure that they are coming in where our estimates are expected.
Yeah, and I can read up on financing. I don't have to bug you too much about that. I read the article online, then I actually found the engineer's review letter from Falls Township, the planning commission guy. That was what, in June of this year?
Yep.
How are you coming in terms of, that was a pretty lengthy letter, you
Yep.
know. How are you coming along in terms of responding to all those comments and questions and stuff?
A lengthy letter, but not uncommon for this size project.
I understand, yeah. I've written them.
So our engineers have been working with them. We anticipate that they will get our response to that well in advance of the September meeting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we're on track for where we wanted to be.
Now, are there any material items that would have to go into that response? I know there was lots of just label this, label that type of items, right?
Yep.
That's pretty standard. I think they asked for some sidewalks here and there.
Correct.
Which
Yep.
we know how expensive sidewalks
yep,
can be here. Are there any items in that letter that you think pose a little bit of a risk to not necessarily the project itself, but just budget items that might escalate?
No, I think that, as you mentioned, addressing the groundwater,
Yeah.
but that wasn't a surprise.
Right.
So just the basins and the positioning of the basins, I think that's what's taken the majority of their time, our engineers' time, is the placement of those and where they will best address the issues on the existing.
We have an excellent stormwater management ordinance in this town, so that's probably better than Falls at this point, so if you want to take a look at that, that might help.
Very good.
And then, I guess, for me, I don't want to take everyone's time here, I apologize. Any opportunities for grants or anything else that you've seen to help the financing, maybe bring down that?
Yes, so actually, our construction management firm, SiteLogic, has a whole division specifically outlined for going after grants.
Okay.
So we just literally met with them, I think it was last week, that not only that, but also looking at capital project fundraising for that, naming rights. All of those options are on the table and being researched heavily at this point.
Highly recommend that.
Yes.
My high school got most of their stuff. Okay. I will put a plug in for lead certification if you can figure out how to get there. I'd be happy to help.
I appreciate that. I might take you up on that.
And then otherwise, I just look forward to the process moving forward. Personally, I appreciate you all coming out here. I will have to ask, because we are coming up on budget season. I didn't see anything in the Act 34 plan about an EIT. Is that off the table? Is strictly millage increases?
I don't want to speak for the board, but
Okay.
I don't think.
I didn't see that
At this
contemplated.
time, we are, do you want to answer? For this round, no. I mean, we're not at that.
And I didn't see it mentioned, but it's
Yeah.
something that we've been talking about
Yep.
or have been asked about it in the past.
Right. So it is something, two of our, one municipality and one borough have an EIT.
Falls does, right? Yeah.
Falls and, weren't there two?
Tullytown has one.
Tullytown.
Yeah.
But at this juncture, we've researched the possibility of it. We still have more information to gather to see about the reality of it. And as we are in the process of hiring a new CFO,
I forgot about that.
it's not a good time to make that decision without that core person in place.
Understood. Definitely an item of interest to us generally
Yep.
moving forward, so I'm curious. Any board members have questions or comments they'd like to make?
Oh, sure. I just want to thank you for coming out and doing the presentation. I know that you guys have been working really hard on it. As a four-year student of PENNSBUry in East, I can appreciate the lack of windows and overall walls, and it made me not want to go to college, actually. No, I'm kidding. But no, the one question I did have about the auditorium, so you're saying that's going to be a 1,000-seat auditorium?
Correct.
Is that, I mean, you're having a 3,000-person gym, a 1,000-square-foot auditorium. Is it because you anticipate being able to move, classes? If you're doing a presentation at the auditorium, say you would only do freshmen and sophomores at that time, and then do juniors and seniors, or class by class, is that what you would have to do there?
So the size of the auditorium, actually, we learned a lot through this process, the design process. You get larger than like 1,200 seats, you start to lose visual sight lines to the folks on the stage. So that's why I guess we've learned this. The Broadway areas are smaller than, a lot of times smaller than 2,000 seats specifically. So you have that intimacy. So we didn't go big specifically for that reason, because we would have had to have either built another balcony or do something different.
So functionally, it'll still work as just...
Functionally, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. It's even larger, a little bit larger than we have at East now.
Historically, the science labs that were built at West probably 15 years ago, 20? Has it been 20 years?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Are we repurposing any of that
Yes,
stuff?
yeah, well, anything we can, certainly, I mean, the materials, beakers and
Sure.
things like that.
Okay.
Tables that have recently been purchased. Yeah, we're not just throwing things away willy-nilly. It'll
Okay.
be all- anything
Locker
that
room
we-
for sports. I didn't see it on there, but I guess it was just on the northern part of that, where the
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Locker
Okay.
rooms, team rooms.
team rooms, all that. Wrestling room, I'm assuming that's...
I should have highlighted that one.
Okay.
Yes, there was up in the right-hand corner, there is, on the other side of the gymnasium, there is a wrestling room. It has the mat, circle.
Okay, and I have that to the wrestling room. That's it. And Coach Pacey runs a great program, so anything you can do to help him out. I'm sure he'll let you know.
He was just, I would literally just met with him today.
Yeah.
About,
Yeah.
he would like a stadium.
Yeah. Actually, since you were talking about sports
Contrary to
facilities.
popular
won't
belief,
ask
we
it,
do
yeah,
say
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I had one other question,
I wanna
actually. And you guys would probably know this best. Student population at PENNSBURY, what percentage is Lower Makefield? What percentage is non-Lower Makefield? So Falls, Yardley, and Tullytown.
Well, I don't have it, I don't want to misquote anything. I don't have it right off the top of my head.
Okay.
That's it.
But
I can get that to you.
okay, yeah, you wouldn't know
Yeah, I'd rather not
percentage-wise.
because I know we have interested parties, so I don't want to misquote myself.
Excellent, okay. That's all I had, thanks.
There you
Yep.
He reminded me of a question I had. We're talking about sports facilities. What portions of the high school sports facilities, if any, outdoors are open to the public for use?
They all are. And we
Like-
just passed our facilities, we're actually updated our facilities policy, which has the rental fees in it.
Yeah. What if, I'm a track guy, I've been for years. What if I want to go for a run on the track? Could I just show up and run on the track, or is
Not
they
during the school day.
Well, obviously, yeah. I've never lived in an area where I haven't had access to a track.
Yeah.
So I get that question from other people, so I'm
So, and I
curious.
know I've had conversations with some of your folks about the middle school
Yep.
concept. That is open and that's easy. That's a cinder track though.
Yeah.
I will say the high school stadium track concept is used a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So even when it's not, it would be, and we are trying to keep it safe and not have people use it.
So it's not open?
Damage it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that, the
So it's
track
locked
is
up?
not- Yep.
That's unfortunate. Anyway, all right. Any other Supervisor Lewis?
As it relates to visiting teams' locker facilities, can they be made super uncomfortable for New Shannon?
Yes.
Okay. Let me make sure that's put in the design requirements. I say that as a proud parent of two PENNSBURY graduates.
Excellent.
So a couple questions around accessibility.
Yep.
So one is with the learning stair concept, and I noticed there was a person in a wheelchair there, but how is that going to be accessible for all kinds of people if you've got tiered stairing for those people? So if I, needed to go on the third row or something like that, but couldn't walk.
So it will be accessible up to a certain point, but not all the way up for that. So that does meet the accessibility requirements. And actually, we have a commitment as a district to go beyond what the minimum is
Right.
for ADA requirements.
So, okay, and then students with mobility challenges, we want to make sure that they're eligible for group activities and performances
Yep.
and everything on the
Oh,
learning
absolutely.
stair. Okay, and then for folks with auditory and visual accessibility needs, will that be figured out somehow?
Yep.
Within there, okay.
This will be so much easier to navigate than our.
Yeah, no, I understand anytime you have a new time to design, you can and definitely do that. In general, what's being done for students with sensory needs? This would be like quiet rooms, acoustic design, lighting controls. How's that being brought into the classrooms or even the non-classroom facilities?
Excellent question. And as a former special educator, I appreciate that question. So our special education classrooms, specifically for some students, and our autistic support classrooms, specifically are being designed with those students, supporting those students specifically in mind. In general, all of our rooms will have dimming lights. With that, we already have, I think virtually all of our rooms have voice amplifiers for the teachers. For that, they'll have large boards, Promethean boards, that students can see the information with that. Additionally, most of actually all of our students at the high school have Chromebooks too, so they can see that information. It really is, I think, a great time for our students with limited English, either limited visual or limited hearing, because you can just zoom in on, I'm just thinking when I first started teaching, when we would have to blow up copies of things, kids can literally just zoom it in on their computer for that, so it is helpful.
So looking at the courtyards, and I can see where they might be a benefit for natural light and sort of outdoor learning environments, but what specific landscaping, furniture, or weather protection features outside the things that you're planning, the shade concept
Yep.
you mentioned, is there going to be outdoor Wi-Fi?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The reason I ask that is you obviously want students to be using this as a social gathering
Yes.
place all year round.
Yep.
To that end, and again, I tend to stay away from sort of educational policy with the school board here, but if there's ways that we can minimize the use of cell phones within classrooms, or even say no cell phone use within the classroom, but allow courtyards and common areas to have excellent service, but just no action within the classroom, that would be ideal, if that's something you can consider.
Absolutely. So last fall, we actually had a panel discussion with students and an expert and conversations about cell phone use in our schools. We piloted, our English department has the cubbies.
Pouches?
The
Okay,
pouches.
yeah.
So they've done that. We're looking to expand that. And I literally met with the high school principal today about next steps. It was interesting because we had two really articulate students on the panel saying, you know, they were seniors. Is there a way to teach them or graduate usage in? So maybe freshmen have no access, but as students get older, do we give them more access? So that was a concept that we never really thought about with it, because their point was, you know, I leave for college. Colleges don't have, you know, so we've, you know, that's another part of our palette that for education, of teaching students, you know, about their digital footprint, and also, you know, trying to focus, you know, in class. And the schools that we've heard from that have done it full board, there are some logistical challenges to that, but also students talk that they talk more. They talk to each other more. I mean, it's just, you know, simple knowledge.
Along those lines, one of the things that's interesting, you have the cafeteria offset by the sports facilities.
Yep.
One of the things that I think you want to encourage is student-to-student sort of interaction outside of the classroom, people talking generally, you know, I don't know, saying hello, asking for dates, whatever. We need probably a little more of that. About food, coffee, is that going to be available for students in other parts of the class?
Yeah, so that's the cafeteria we envision. Well, that'll be more for your, like if you want a grilled panini, that's where you can go. If you just want a slice of pizza, there's a snack over by the learning stairs. There's grab and go.
Okay.
For that, so you can get a drink, you can get a slice of pizza for that. There's another snack shack where it could just be getting, you know, a salad.
Right. When I went through
Pre-prepared
your
meals.
stuff, and in your presentation, you had a list of all the different groups that you talked to.
Yeah.
And it struck me that one of the things that's fascinating about PENNSBURY is because of its size, by the way, I wouldn't want two high schools because our football team would be half as good, and as well as our debate team. We can't have that. And our marching band prom would be the same.
Yeah, it's all.
But what makes PENNSBURY special is that because of its size, all kinds of children find their tribe in a way.
Yes.
And one of the things that I was thinking about in focus groups is, did you talk to average students, not the best in academic, not sports stars, regular people, focus groups for regular students, what they think about the plan? And I find from design workshops all the time, you're always surprised at what you learn from people because they have fresh eyes that you didn't see. Have you done those kinds of?
Yeah, so I can tell you, and not even necessarily tied to the high school project, but one of the things that I put into place when I arrived in the district is we call it the Superintendent Principal Advisory Council, which exactly, we literally pulled kids out of the hallway. So it's not the quarterback, it's not the homecoming king, it is the student walking down the hallway. Let's hear what you tell us about that. The other thing that the principal and I do during the school year on a weekly basis, we go into classes, and it is special needs classes, AP classes, and everything in between with that, and just talk. We have no agenda. Like, we want to make, and I would argue that what we've tried to do is give the students a voice, because as you mentioned, the average student is near and dear to my heart personally. You know, I think we do very well. We have a lot of AP classes. We do very well with students. I mean, we have kids taking, you know, differentiated equations. We do very well with our students with special needs. With a 3,000 student high school, while yes, socially they might find their tribe, I worry about, are we tapping that kid who's, I love to call them like the messy learners, who are smart but aren't necessarily, don't fit into your typical, like, you know, they do all their homework and they sit nicely. So trying to really tap and pull those students out has really been a hallmark of my career, and engaging them in the process. You know, one of the things, and we've done this exact presentation for that panel, the Superintendent and Principals Advisory, we always preface it, well, you're not going to see any of this, but, you know, talk to us about it. And one of the things, and the reason why we wanted to put in those courtyards is because on a nice day, kids like the path. Like, it is downtime.
Yeah.
It is time for them to hang out. So that's where we really wanted to incorporate those spaces that are safe, that students can. I can go outside and eat lunch for 45 minutes. We went over to Jersey, Hunter Central High School, which is 2,600 students, give or take. They have the unit lunch. Kids are outside 360, well, you know, every day of the school year, whether it's snow, sleet, rain, they go outside and they hang out. They're just doing that. And they have a, you know, these kids have developed their own intramural soccer league, and they're playing every day, you know, and it's a co-ed league. Like, it's really, it's where we can aspire to, I think, in terms of that social part, because, again, it's a big high school, but the way it's structured now sometimes is not every kid can find its tribe, and we really want to make it so we can. That was a long-winded response, but it's an area of interest for me.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for coming out today. I think, you know, every time you have a chance to talk a little bit more about the project's good for the community. People
Great.
understand it. I will say this, you know, both of my children graduated from PENNSBURY, so, and I'm not ready for grandchildren for a long time. And my son did mark himself safe from teen pregnancy, so I have that going for me. But I think all of the folks that, when they see the new school, will be proud that the community has that capability. And for us, number one goal for you guys is educational quality, and
Yep.
we want you to have the tools and be successful at that.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other supervisors have comments or questions? All right. I'm looking at our chief sitting in the back here. I'm wondering, when you did the design, not anything that he did, but it's reminding me, when you did the design, did you have, let's say, Falls Township
Yep.
Police Department run it down and?
Yeah, so the chief has seen that. Did we show it to the full group of chiefs? Yeah, we shared it with that. And actually, you know, one thing we mentioned talking about groups are custodians. You know,
Yeah.
and I failed to mention this about our current state of our buildings. Like, that was the group I spoke to about challenges they're dealing with, and they will share what they're dealing with on a daily basis. And even the design of this, and some of I just had our head custodian from West in a meeting last week. Like, we're looking at floor tile, looking at hand dryers,
Yep.
and said, like, and even dividers for the bathroom fixtures. Just what do they deal with on a daily basis? Because we want this to be, you know, a 70-year building.
Yeah. Practical and
Yeah.
usable. I get it. Okay. I just saw a chief and figured I had to ask that one.
Now, security has been a big
Yeah.
driver for this.
With that, any public comment from anybody? I don't see the red light on, so anyone online? All right. Well, thank you very, very much. You've been talking for a while. I appreciate you taking the time to come out and present the project. A lot going on in the next few weeks to few months, right?
Yep.
But we look forward to things moving forward.
Well, we appreciate the invitation, and as Mr. Lewis said, anytime we can get out and talk about the project, dispel some of the rumors and the myths is good for us, so it's well worth it. I'll put in a plug. We do have a board meeting tomorrow night. If anybody has questions that didn't get asked tonight, they can come
More
out to
public
that.
comment?
And we do have our Act 34 hearing on September 4th.
It would be really funny if I went and gave public comment at a board.
That's it. Come on over.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Stand in line, though. We have a lot of public.
Have a good night. Thank you very much.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's move on to item
We
9.
have cleared the room.
Consent agenda items. Is this a staff-only meeting now?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda items as listed.
Second.
All right. The board comment?
No.
No board comment? Public? All the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, moving right along. Item 10, consider resolution 2513 relating to Wright Farm sanitary sewer planning module.
Good evening. You have before you the planning module, the sewage facilities planning module for the Wright Farm subdivision, which is 47 lots at the end of Surrey Lane. This form needs to be signed by Lower Makefield Township since we have an official Act 537 plan that governs the disposal of sewage in our municipality. The system will be a low-pressure force main system that'll connect to the Aqua system and go through the existing Core Creek Interceptor and then the Chamonix Interceptor to the Philadelphia Water Department's Northeast Water Treatment Plant. This is capacity has been certified by the downstream receiving authorities, and everything is in order with the application.
So moved.
Second.
Let you have that one.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any board comment? Any public comment? Anyone online? All right, I'll call it the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Majewski.
Thank you.
Jim, could you just stay there? I have a question for you, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Jim, I was wondering if you had any chance, if you have an update for anybody on the development in Edgewood that we sometimes call The Point. I know that there's a historic building there that has been prioritized by the builder to protect and redevelop, but they've gotten kind of caught up in Yardley Borough's sewer issues. But do you have any update on anything we can expect anytime soon?
I did intend to call them a couple of days ago to get an update on that, but I just forgot about it. So I'll give them a call tomorrow, find out where exactly they stand in the process so we can move this forward.
Yeah, I would urge you to be as engaging as you can be, right? Because that particular building, the one that's going to be saved, to my mind anyway, doesn't require anything from anyone for them to start saving it. I mean, put a tarp over it, and I don't mean to make light of it, but there are steps that can be taken today that can help preserve the architectural features. And, we understand that there are issues, but let's get moving on it. That would be the kind and generous message that I would love you to relay to the builder.
If I may.
Yes.
I reached out to Yardley Borough Council about this specific issue a month or two ago, and the one thing they told me is that I'm looking for it, is that they anticipated EDUs to be released potentially by the end of September that would allow the construction permits to move forward with that. So it's coming up, so if we can keep poking.
So,
And I believe they were actually going for an exemption to at least release 1 or 2 EDUs to get started at the meeting that the Yardley Borough Sewer Authority had a week or two ago. And that's why I need to give them a call to get an update.
Excellent, okay.
I'm making this up as I go along, because it's one of my
Okay.
strengths. I don't think they need an EDU for the building that's there already. So I think they could start doing steps on that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping to get moving.
We're trying to promote them to do something.
Yes.
Right? I fully on board with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. We have the engineers report. Item number 11 is the engineers report. Our engineer's here. If anyone has any questions for the engineer, please feel free. If not, we can move right along. All right. Item number 12 is the manager's report. I'm sure he's got nothing to say tonight.
I don't have anything specific. I'm happy to address any questions that any board members may have regarding any issue.
All right. Item number 13, Park and Rec. Consider authorizing a purchase from Home Depot for the boardwalk materials at 5 Mile Woods ADA accessibility project.
So moved?
Second.
We can. Yeah.
I'm actually looking into this. Is there a possibility we could table this? Are you building this like, you're not doing this in the next couple weeks, right? Can it wait till our next meeting? Thank you.
So you want to make a motion to table?
Yeah, can I make a motion to table?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is your concern maybe that we can get a better deal or something? Oh, excellent. Yes, then I withdraw my
Actually, much
motion. We don't
better.
even have to table it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Derek, what are you doing to us? Public Works, we've got 85 items. What are we doing?
Can we convert this to a consent? Like, is that possible?
Is there a way to do that, actually? The
Yeah,
Public
for-
Works items, could we,
You'd just say aye and we just go home.
Can we move it to a consent or like just take them in bulk? They're budgeted, right?
These were all
All budgeted items, yes.
They are all budget.
Can I just make a motion to approve items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G?
Second.
You may, and you did.
And then
Yeah.
we'll spend time on the baby?
pictures?
Yeah, my mother's probably getting tired of being home with us.
So we got a motion and a second. Just really quick, we have some purchases coming up, dump trucks and other equipment that were budgeted. Looks like they're all coming in within budget, Derek?
Yeah, most of them under, I think one was maybe $100, a couple $100 over, but yes, everything is within the, reasonable budget amounts.
That's pretty much A through F.
Correct.
And then G is we have an opportunity to, within budget, I believe, to add a little bit more milling and overlay at Hidden Oaks Drive to our existing road program this year.
Correct. We're roll-offs as part of the mill and overlay program for this year. We looked at one of the intersections that we're actually doing all the ADA ramps in, and the intersection's in pretty rough shape, so we're just extending it to the next intersection of, I believe, Hidden Oaks. So we're just coming off roll-offs to, I think it's about 200 and some feet on Hidden Oaks, just to get some entrance road stuff. Estimated cost about $10,000, and again, we're looking on track to be under total contract value for the road program.
That's all I needed for clarification.
Yep.
So we get motion and a second. Any board comment? Any public comment? Anyone online? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor? Please say
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Derek, any updates on when Highland Drive's going to start?
We actually just got the executed contracts back from the contractor today through RVE, so I believe Dave
Morning.
got them over to Maureen
Correct.
literally just this afternoon. So execution's in our hands to execute once they're reviewed by Maureen, and then hopefully we'll get pre-con meetings all set up, things like that.
Can we get like a base schedule of?
Yeah, as soon as,
stuff
I'm
that
sure
can be
once
published?
we execute
Yeah, yeah.
contracts in the contract, we'll
Yeah,
get all
the
this. Yep.
pre-construction meeting is actually scheduled.
is
I-
scheduled,
Yeah,
that's
you're,
right. I
yeah,
was
so
out
I
when we scheduled
believe it's the
27th or 28th.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
27th of August, so we'll have a better idea.
When do you
of the
think
schedule
they'll
soon.
break ground? First day of school?
Probably. Pre-con is the next Wednesday, the 27th. I would know more then. I think it's going to be up to where the culvert sits and fabrication stuff, just so they can backdoor themselves in the culvert placement, so.
Yeah, so we should have additional report in terms of schedule at the next meeting, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would agree, yeah.
We'll want to let the neighbors know when.
Yep, absolutely.
School board.
School board you just left too, so we can address that. I know access is supposed to be guaranteed, but when you
Yes.
have a culvert that big open, you never know what's going to happen. All right.
Correct.
Thanks, Derek. And
Anything else? Good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, not much.
Madam Solicitor?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. The meeting should reflect that the supervisors present this evening met in executive session immediately prior to this meeting for discussion of litigation, real estate, and personnel or employment issues. And in keeping with prior reports, I do not have a report this evening, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, supervisor reports. I have nothing to say this evening.
Neither do I.
All right,
No report from me?
there we go. Mr. McCartney?
Nothing to report.
Ms. Boone?
I just have to point out that the Trenton Mercer Airport Review Panel's meeting, that's usually the last week of the month, will take place tomorrow at 6. They do have some updates on projects that they're working on, so hopefully people can tune in and watch.
All right, thank you. Discussion items, we don't have anything, any other business from board members? All right, hearing none. Appointments or reappointments to boards and committees, we interviewed 3 tonight. I think we might, I don't know if we have 2 or 3 openings at the moment. All 3 were really good. I wish we could put them all on tonight. I just don't know what the mix is right now, so we might have to wait till next meeting, if that's okay with folks. All right. All right. With that, additional public comment on non-agenda items. So same thing as item number 5. Any public comment in the room? Anyone online? All right. With that, I will say have a great evening, and we will adjourn this meeting. Take care.
Good night.